speak, is always a big, I guess, it's a big pressure position to be in, as we even saw with the latest major. You can't always expect to perform at those types of events, but if you're gonna sort of peak, especially with Shanghai at the end of the year, to have Chengdu as a tournament where you can face off against some of those top level opponents, it's a lot of a learning experience for Lynn Vision as we find out more and more about this roster. At the end of last year, they had a lot of chances to compete internationally. They had a lot of chances to face off against the Mongols, and they didn't really succeed. They failed at the major, but for them to even make it to that point, especially as a brand new squad where they didn't have legacy players to sort of pass on information to these younger and younger guys. It's great to see them get more and more chances, but Jönköping is a big ask, especially when there's Mongols on the other side of the bracket. First people they have to face are from the same country in ATOX, and they are certainly a rising presence, and they will be fighting an ATOX that have all of their 5 pieces in the server, Annihilation on the other end, and that's a scary prospect. You've got Cabal, Dobu, and Annihilation you have to contend with, not to mention whoever, Zesta and Mick round out this roster magnificently. This will not be an easy game in the opening round.
Dude, this is what I wanted to see. G versus Annihilation. This is exactly the matchup that I was hoping for when I heard about that we would be assigned this. I was so disappointed when I saw that Flynn's playing, because I've been looking forward to seeing Annihilation back on the server. He is such an enigmatic player because we have seen the best from him, we have seen the worst from him, and recently we've seen literally nothing from him, right? So let's find out what side of the spectrum he's going to be falling on. He's also the kind of player where I don't think he's going to be nervous going into this matchup. I'll be very honest, but I will always remember one interview we had with Zacher Michael after Lynn Vision beat Mongols for the first time when Annihilation was still on there. And Zacher had this special thing about, hey, I know I can always out-op Annihilation. I know I've always got the number on him. So I'm wondering how that's going to transition forward with Lynn having G as well. It's a small little thing, but it's a callback to a time where we don't necessarily get the best interviews from a lot of the Chinese squads for obvious reasons, and that was one of my favorite ones that we've ever gotten.
Yeah, I mean, it's always great as well when you have a team that had very little actually sort of proven history to be able to beat some of these top level squads, aside from maybe in the ESL Challenger League, where it felt like Lynn Vision, especially in their foray into that league system, just seemed to be almost unbeatable. But then you get to these qualifying tournaments to international lands, and they'd always struggle. For them, a lot of the transition was a move in leadership and a move in roles as well. We will dive into our first map. Lynn Vision versus ATOX, the brand new ATOX versus the Lynn that made it to the major.
Both teams starting off with a smoke and a flash apiece. PT for Annihilation. Dually for Emilia to round it out, but Starry's dead and it's westmelon soon to follow. Zesta and Mick, the 2 players left to round out the lineup. Like you said, ATOX will be using them to entry up as well. G, however, dinked up in exchange for his quick kill. And as the CTs congregate back to Moro and look to retake in from there, the smoke will allow for the plant. It's nothing beyond it. Annihilation is contesting. Mick as well finds another frag. With full control of the side, it was always going to be difficult for ATOX to lose that round, and well, there you have it, closing through.
Yeah, and you could see that they weren't in great positions to really address the hit that ATOX had. As soon as they lost that player deep inside the apartments, there's no presence on the bomb site. They just get destroyed trying to rotate in and thin the herd before ATOX get comfortable in the post plant. By the time they do actually get into those spots, they lose their lives even before that bomb goes down. So nice little pacey play there from ATOX on this pistol round. And we didn't really talk about vetoes coming into this. You can see at the top left of your screen, this is a map picked by ATOX in the series. They opted for Inferno, but Lynn have countered with an Anubis, a map that they've been kind of consistently dangerous on, and Overpass as our decider within the series. And overall, I think this is to be honest, quite a good map pool for ATOX. They're a team
for
that
sure.
have kind of changed their first round rotations and their first picks very frequently. I feel like they have hashed out their map pool faster than honestly some other teams within the region.
I will say that I believe, God, I think Annihilation hasn't actually played that much Anubis, because for a while Mongols was batting it. in second phase, and no one was picking it first phase at the time, beyond like a couple of teams here and there. I might be wrong about that. I'm trying to remember. Oh no, I've just checked. He's played a bit, but that was back in CS:GO and everything. Regardless, I was just curious about it because ATOX, one of the things on Anubis that was actually quite helpful for them. You can tell it's been a while since I've casted guys. Majors is going on, but their previous opera was very, very good on Anubis on T side and just stopping aggression from coming in, and that seemed like it was something that they actually relied on pretty heavily at times. So Annihilation isn't that kind of defensive opera traditionally, so him coming in to replace accuracy like that on Anubis is going to be interesting when we get there. Obviously not there yet. Right now the conversation's all about Inferno, but yeah.
Yeah, it'll be interesting as well because I think that the teams that are able to facilitate and utilize aggressive AWPing plays, especially when we dive into Anubis, we'll be able to get examples of this. But some of the best AWPers at finding aggressive picks are actually sort of boosted in certain positions, or they're run boosted into aggressive spots to sort of beat timings. I think that's where the most sort of dynamic variety happens on that AWP. So, that's a big test, especially with a new piece. It's maybe something that will be hashed out further into their season, especially as we end the first segments of the year, which is, kind of wild to think that we're already in April. But, these are big things to sort of consider as well. Have they had enough time to sort of organize him into the AWPer that we know Annihilation is, and are they gonna even maybe tug at the leash a little bit to stop him from going for some of these aggressive plays, because that's kind of Annihilation's hallmark.
Always has been, man. Then in the meanwhile, we'll be stacking over to the A site. Just some USBs, right? So no harm, no foul. Just out and trying to get some kills, trying to see if you can get a quick upset out. And of course, just as a heads up to everyone who is tuned in and is confused about why there is an 11th player on the server that is dobu, that's just an error based on how we've done coaching, because coaching still isn't an official feature implemented by Valve. We have to treat coaches as dead players and then artificially alter monies and things like that at the start of every round. It's complicated, whatever it is. The coach is counted as an extra player on the server, so you will see players go up to 11 or 12 at times on the minimap.
Yeah, it's a bandage solution to a feature we have yet to have implemented. No bandages needed here for ATOX. Not going to take any licks or paper cuts from these pistols. So this could be very simply a plant and a conversion round here for ATOX. These USPs don't really have a whole lot to live for. And they do have a couple flashes onto Starry, so if they can get into these forward spots and make use of those flashes, could be some damage dealt here by Lynn.
Well, flash forward, and it seems like the only person who might be caught out should be Annihilation inside the site itself. No, Maycross was the man inside the site. Annihilation's the man who's about to be caught out regardless. So down low, 14 HP, would be lucky to get away. A lot of damage dealt by the CTs just off the back of two flashes. Very successful round from Envision.
Yeah, all things considered, I mean, they knew they weren't going to win that round, but for them to have found 3 kills from just those 2 flashes, it more than justifies the purchase. They're really well handled, really well organized by Lynn. See ATOX getting caught transitioning away. They were even thinking about just all playing the post plant from Banana because there was no pressure from Lynn. But now that they're onto these rifles, they are going to feel that pressure very quickly, you can imagine. Full rifles for all the Lynn side. You see a couple Galils for the ATOX attack. Banana control being established early, just an exchange of Molotovs. It's just a tennis match of utility. They're setting up for the boost, and Cabal's inside of the smoke. They're ready to burst and even phase this smoke. They're not going to be ready for 3 players just out in the middle of mid, ready to fight, ready for combat, and they come out ahead on the trades as well. ATOX barreling straight into that A play, and Lynn tucking tail for the save already.
That's a really fun call to come through. They clearly one of the small set pieces that they've kept in mind to try and fight for brackets control early into the round. Also, one of the things that you have to be very concerned about is the possibility of just being naded, right, in a situation like that. But that's not something that'll commonly be done. You don't really nade open the smoke that's that deep in middle because it also opens you up to the players behind it. So yeah, that's a fun idea. Quite like it.
Yeah, I almost want to say, the first smoke was thrown by ATOX to the start of the round, but I think there was even a follow-up smoke done by Lynn, so it's not even like they were trying to combat for that particular position. They just, I guess, they had to have thought about it as a possibility, but, when someone makes the call, let's 3 of us sit inside of this piece of mid-utility, and we're just gonna basically play back-to-back and fight our way out of it. It is quite brave, but it's more than certainly catches Lynn Vision off guard.
You know what would be a fun addition to that? If you had like your 5th person try and throw a flash above the smoke and you all look down to play anti-flash as the smoke is fading. That'd be fun.
I feel like that would just complicate matters.
I know. It's the best.
Sometimes keeping it simple works even better.
Okay. Actually, keeping it wonderful did look pretty good, but hey, whatever. Who's keeping score?
He seemed just as happy as they were to win the major.
That was a great tweet from him. Yeah. I will say though that I am really, really also interested to see have the world rankings been updated since the end of the major?
The Valve World Rankings, the ESL World Rankings, the HLTV. Which ones are you talking about?
You know what? You make a fair point. I think the relevant ones would be the ESL ones, because I'm also curious about whether like Mongols would potentially be in a position to straight up be invited for any of these events that they're also trying to qualify for now. We are both Googling what the ESL World Rankings are right now, guys. I'm just letting you know.
Yeah, I can't seem to get to it, so...
Yeah, same. Okay, never mind. Point is that we are also entering a world which we have not been in potentially, you know, and with Chengdu around the corner especially, I think there's really some room for some upsets there. You know, we've obviously got a couple of teams that couldn't make it because of visa situations, complexity, and M80 won't be there, so you're going to have Liquid, who, listen, Liquid, no one knows what Liquid is actually going to be like, right? And you've also got like a couple of teams that are there from the world rankings from earlier on, like Monty and whatnot. So this is where you could actually see a couple of these, you know, Asian teams getting a few more upsets there. We haven't been in a world where the APAC region, including Greyhound, has like received direct non-regional invites since like 2019 or something. So I am interested to see whether we can actually climb back up to that status at any point in CS2.
Yeah, no, I will make a small correction. It is Chengdu. You know, like kind of like it's spelled with an E, but it almost sounds like it's spelled with a U.
CS is so exotic. We've got Jönköping, we've got Chengdu, we've got so many places that I will always struggle to pronounce until I'm corrected.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing, like, we can only speak English, let alone the versions of, I mean, adapting our English to then have sounds that are outside of the English catalog.
I will have you know I'm bilingual.
Yeah,
actually,
you are bilingual, sorry.
Yeah.
But for the broadcast sake, you know, even if you had to say a town name in Pakistan, there are going to be some variations versus, like, the anglicized version. So everything's going to be a bit, you know, a little topsy-turvy. Yeah. It can be difficult to keep track of everything.
But it's going to be interesting to see whether or not we can sort of get back to that world ranking status as well at any point. And obviously, to those of you guys who were not fortunate enough to tune in, that was back in the 100 Thieves era when the Aussies were over there. Great team. We're going to actually give you time to take a history lesson by going to a short break. Look him up on Wikipedia in the meanwhile. We don't care about history, we only care about the present, and the present is what we want you to focus on. Lynn Vision saving 2 rifles from that previous round where ATOX went with that full smoke phase, but now those rifles need to be put to use, and Zacker's come through with a quick big frag. Westmelon, however, was the one to open up the round with his 5-7. Nick, generally known for his lurking shenanigans back in Banana, and that's exactly where he'll be lying here once again. Meanwhile, on the other side of the map, Lynn Vision's got a couple of players aggressively postured, so they do know that there won't be any lurking plays into the brackets with the double amp setup that they're rocking. Of course, those are just USBs and a 5.7, so that's a separate conversation to be had. Meanwhile, the 2 M4s that were already visible on B, one of them's rotated away, Michael.
Yeah, at least Emilia does have a smoke that he can buy a bit more time for. You know, they'll have Molotovs for a post-plant should there be a breaching into the bomb site, but ATOX are going to have to wait this smoke out. And that extra 20 seconds could be enough time for Lynn to have pieced this one completely together. They clear out from the apartments they've seen down middle, and they have seen no resistance, so Emilia should know what's coming his way.
Oh, this Molotov's going to be a little bit too deep. Mick and Zesta have already moved past it, but Zesta, in the meanwhile, what's he taking damage to? Not entirely sure. Emilia. Zesta won't be able to get the bomb plant in. Emilia's going to be just trying to play denial potentially. No, he's waiting. They want to swarm them with numbers instead. They've all got rifles and, well, a Mac 10 on one of them, but Zesta's the one fighting back, and he doesn't have HP to go for this clutch. Down and out, Zacher and Starry to put them down. Lynn Vision with a stealer.
Yeah, because of that information they got from the apartment, Zacher got there in time to catch them on the cross. He hit a dink just as they were breaching into the bomb site. That's how he took so much damage. And because of Emilia keeping himself alive and even getting that Molotov, sure, it was late. It did just section off one of the players towards Banana, so there were only 2 players actually breaking in. And so yes, Lynn Vision able to convert on that man advantage they found at the start of the round. Keeping ATOX's economy weak has been a part of the objective for a couple of these rounds. Even though they got demolished on one of the gun rounds, it was a bit of a back and forth set of trades. And the round with those USPs certainly having a sort of a ripple effect into this. You have a couple of pistols out for ATOX on their buy.
Starting with 4 people on that B side and now quickly rotating back in. Does mean they've got plenty of utility for this Banana retake setup. Zacher stalled out the flashbang for a while longer, waits for the Molotov ticks, and he needs a flash, doesn't even need sightlines in general. Zacher can do it with his eyes closed and with his vision obscured either way.
Very smooth. I mean, that first duel was lightning quick, and even though the player was weakened, it was just instant headshot collection there from Zacher, and then just predicting as well that as that smoke bloomed, a player would reveal itself behind that smoke.
Oh, good nade.
Yeah, that's really chunky. westmelon pulled out the Zeus straight afterwards, but he's going to need his gun raised for these fights ahead of him. ATOX are congregating from short and the apartments.
Molotov to force Starry out of position, but there can't be anything else from Abs. Annihilation. Only one left alive, and not for long. The ball taken down while he was trying to move out of the apartments. G's the man to do it, and Lynn Vision up to 2.
So far, so good. You know, losing the pistol, this is becoming I mean, it was a topic of conversation when MR12 was sort of first introduced, but, you know, as the meta develops and as we get more and more levels of competition, we have a larger sample size to pull from. There were some events where it didn't seem like the pistol mattered as much, but especially as teams have tightened the ship around those conversion rounds, it does offer a bit more space and a bit more breathing room should you convert on them. Even in MR15 that was the case, but it just feels like it's extended its presence almost. It makes up a larger portion of the rounds you play in these halves. The team's actually converting on it. Though we have seen our fair few, you know, these force buy, low buy rounds that have pulled through more so at the start of CS2 than I'd say at the end of Go. The games are similar, but different enough. Not too many times we can succeed, regardless of version. So, Not expecting a lot out of this Mongolian attack.
I'm trying to remember which playoff match had a Glock round win. There was one.
I do believe there was one.
I think it was might have actually been Vitality versus FaZe. FaZe might have won the Glock round.
Yep,
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the one.
I do just recall yelling Glocks at some point.
Remember, guys, when we're at esports events and we're not hired, we're there to watch the fireworks.
Oh,
Just
I
like
mean,
you can be as well.
That's exactly how you should feel. Everyone's a fan of the game.
No, I mean, one of the first things that made me fall in love with Counter-Strike was, I mean, even more was, I got to go to Cologne back in 2017, and oh my goodness, like, it's just different. There's nothing like it. So yeah, it was a good time. Zacker's having a good time so far as well. And towards Banana, sitting on 8 kills. They're starting off once again with 4 players on this B bomb site. All Starry's hoping for is that they don't rush him down. That smoke, it just helps him. It's a deep smoke in the middle. They're going to have to wait for it to phase. By the time that happens, rotations can come right back in.
Yeah, with the way the economy has sort of ironed itself out as well, you know, talk about annihilation and the aggression that he can sometimes organize for his squads. Usually on an AWP for those types of ventures. Not going to have those chances so soon. On this reinvestment, even running a little light on utility, a lot of it being exchanged in Banana to sort of feign some presence, but ATOX now just looking to set themselves up inside of those brackets. There are 4 players here, but Lynn are playing back towards the bomb site. They're allowing this control to be garnered by the ATOX side, but that could lead them into a bit of a false sense of security. In fact, it's so quiet at the top side of middle. Great tag in from G, but not finishing off finding that man advantage. Instead, it'll be converted upon by westmelon. He doesn't have a flash via Emilia. Needs some way to get himself out of this position because he knows as well as they do that he's trapped here.
Lynn Vision might have actually misread this one, but westmelon's still good for the one before he fades away. That'll give a bit more time for the rotation to come through. Emilia is the one to try and make his way back over. G has to lock things down from pit. He's missed a shot. Starry's taken down as a result of it. But Emilia's now here. He's added his name to the fray, and now it means only annihilation is left. And aggression he might be known for. Clutches, unfortunately, he is not. Lynn Vision up to 4 despite some chaotic decisions in the middle of that round.
Yeah, I mean, things got a little bit dicey with the late rotation by Lynn Vision. I think because westmelon wasn't being funneled out of his position, they did start to believe that this could have been a clamoring back towards that B bomb site, but they do get their trades back, and even with those shots missed out from G, a good decision for him to switch into that Tech 9 and just be mobile, be annoying, and just constantly be a presence still on that site, even with all of his rotates getting cut down.
Oh, nice flashlight. That's one to take home.
Another lamp flash? You need to stop putting lamps everywhere. Too many reference points.
Wait, what, you don't like the 2 connectors that we have on Anubis? Zest, however, loves the apartments, and he is hoping to buy property here because he is dominating them. Feels like he owns it all on his own already. G, Molotov through might be enough to force Zesta into a more awkward position. In the meanwhile, Mixman taken down. Lynn Vision still yet to rotate Emilia back into this A side, so it'll be a 2-on-3 retake if that's what they want to go for. Molly available for Zacher. Could try and just deny the plant with that, but instead he's trying to play the smoke. And with that, the bomb hasn't actually made its way down to the site. It's still over in apartments, needs to be recovered. Annihilation trying to throw it into the site without having to cross in, and with the smoke fading, actually ends up helping him out. G doesn't realize there's a player right around the corner. Molotov won't take down Zesta. He's left with barely any life, but with the M4, he's still got the most of the firepower.
It'll all be on this position from Annihilation. This is why he didn't want to drop out of those apartments, just to constantly be some pressure on these players coming back in for the retake. But timing's there for Emilia. Just as he's checking it, Annihilation swinging, and Zesta's health, it wasn't the greatest, but it's put all the way through. A bullet from that AWP in the dome. Really nicely handled from Lynn Vision, and making up for a bit of a mistake from westmelon. You know, could have stopped Zesta from getting the trade kill onto the bomb site. It felt like westmelon had that kill every day of the week, but because of that extra room, they get a plant, they get extra money, and so now they have an AWP in Annihilation's hands as well.
What's he gonna do with it? That's a question.
The hope is he shoots people.
Ah, well.
Oh!
Ah, okay.
It may not be needed.
Nick, I see you. Nick's obviously been one of the sleeper players who's come through. Not really talked the most about in the Mongolian scene, but always a consistent component for the ATOX side. Zacher as well, a consistent component for Lynn Vision for years and years, but he's actually moved fast right into dobu's face. He shoots a flashbang in to try and reposition, and he is looking pretty over in banana.
Damn, they were layering flashes at the bottom of banana. You may caught Zacher, but good presence of mind for him to turn around and find the other gap in the smoke. This double set up in the side of the apartments. Oh, it's just gonna be so fruitful. Starry didn't catch him the first time, but on the swing, Zesta was just simply not prepared. It's Cabal to try and hunt down this trade. Will go out swinging and pre-firing. Brings it back into a 3-on-3 because they found that extra opening at the start of the round via Mick.
Annihilation could actually elect to take this bomb over elsewhere. The question is about this duel. Cabal unable to find the frag on G. Tried to line up the pre-fire, but only gets his information about the presence of the AWP. In the meanwhile, now we need to see whether he can start indeed shooting people on B with Annihilation. Again, the one to plant the bomb. Mick's going to be taking up the first post-plant position. They do have a Molotov for it, so have to be careful playing out from new box in a situation like this. Annihilation is set up in coffin. 3-man CT push from banana being prepared. They've got the smokes, they've got the Molotovs, they've got the flashes. The full execute could come through, and Emilia is the one deploying most of the utility. What's the plan? Annihilation, one flash. That's the predominant force that they will have to try and push into banana. Once again, Mick needs to get these kills. Flash goes out, but Zacher's not blind. Mick doesn't care. He's got two big ones. G all alone inside the site, forced to commit, and Mick's done it all. 4 frags on the man, opens and closes the round.
That is perfect. That spray control, the transfer from Mick, could not have come at a better time. Flash didn't catch those players inside of pool, but it certainly distracted because they weren't sure where that next fight was going to come from. Information about one player, but that could have just been a man stalling for time. They weren't prepared for Mick to swing. But so rapid, the target transfer couldn't have come at a better time for ATOX, being out of a deficit. After they found the opening pick, a quietly contested first half. And now Lynn Vision on the precipice of having their money shattered at the end of the half. There has been some forward pressure applied by Lynn in prior rounds over at Banana. So a little bit of hesitation about foraying into that if you were ATOX. Although util being cycled over to Starry, who should serve as the anchor on the site.
Oh, ho, ho, ho! The juice has been squeezed.
These HEs just keep finding so much damage for Lynn.
Now westmelon will hope to do the same inside A, but he's taken down too quick. It all comes down to Starry buying space and time with a flashbang, but it's Emilia who's giving him that second man. Again and again, timely with rotations, but dobu's coming through in the spot where Apex was not able to win a round from. Annihilation will find that dobu is no different. 6 for Lynn Vision.
Yeah, Mick might have gone to 4K last round, but Starry answers back with 4 of his own. Some nice, just clean duels. I mean, his teammates did a lot of the work with the util and the presence that they were throwing. And even though they knew about Starry from one of the first engagements, just being able to track him down inside of pit, extremely difficult when there's so many open sight lines with the presence on the bomb site and being applied from Moto as well. So Starry being teed up for success, but he converts on all those frags. I do like this deep smoke that they've been throwing on the ATOX side, and finally we get Annihilation opening up the round with his AWP, but Zacher is still fighting and actually being offered up a jump spot. The nade's not going to be doing enough to keep him contained inside of Banana. He can exit.
He doesn't want to. He's got support behind him in the form of G's up, so should he want to fade away after getting a kill, he'll always have that extra bullet to give him that backup against the first player trying to round the corner. Does, in the end, decide to fade away backwards, but I've got to say, Michael, again, like you were saying, these HEs are insane. Like, the damage exchange for Annihilation's kill is so significant. Now you've got 2 flashes to try and breach Banana. They've got full information of what's going on in second middle because of Starry's push. And G hasn't been flashed up initially. Annihilation has to get a frag. That's just simply not going to happen. And a Molotov behind the smoke. There's no way for the T side to penetrate the site.
Oh, and another nade that finds its mark. Mick floored by the HE. It's an awkward fight there for Zacher. dobu just continuing to run, but G finding another shot. 3 for G so far. It's Cabal that tries to find his way out of these smokes. There were 3 at the entrance to B. Molotov that will force G forward. That box permeable, and so Cabal will spam it. But there's a flank coming closer and closer, but the timing may not have worked. westmelon pressured inside of spawn, and Cabal trying to piece it all together. 14 seconds, but Star's already taken such a deep angle. The Molotov forcing him out, and I don't know that Cabal heard. He gets off of the plant, but Starry still has that element. Knew exactly where he positioned based on the tap, and so it will be a 7th for Lynn Vision, but by the skin of their teeth.
Cabal is just such a fun player to watch when he gets into the zone. It's like he knows exactly what's going on. He'll make all the right plays, all the right timings, but that one small misstep where he's not able to peek out and put the bomb away in the beginning of that last duel, unfortunately just doesn't work out for him. Still, fantastic defense coming out on the B side from G and Starry, not Starry, rather G and Zacher especially, but yeah. Can't feel too good about that, despite the opening frag that Annihilation had. Just couldn't do anything in the late round.
Yeah, just getting, I think, a little lost with all those smokes that were down. Even though they were holding the edges of it, they also didn't want to hold too tight to those smokes. I think it's something that we've noticed with people in CS2, is that, you know, even with the old smokes in Go, you know, we had the problems with, you know, one-ways and, you know, just seeing around the corners of it. With the ways that the smokes are volumetric now, it can be a lot harder to sort of read where the smoke completely ends and where it's supposed to, you know, bloom or spill out into other areas. It's a lot more unpredictable in that sense, unless you know exactly where it's going to land and it's in a very traditional position. The fact that the smokes, you know, sort of change, they're a bit more fluid, is a little bit harder to read at times.
Hey man, it's just like Counter-Strike, right? It's getting more and more fluid across time. Smokes are eventually just going to start dissipating away and being particles that float across the map, and you're never going to... Sorry, Overpass already has that. Never mind, I'm turning away from fake flashes all the time just because there's a damn leaf there. Come on, Val. I don't want to be flashed by lone leaves.
Yeah, from chickens entering your crosshair to people shooting it to random leaves. You've got to be prepared for multiple environments.
I don't want no cherry blossoms.
Yeah, but sometimes those leaves just be falling.
It's true. And so far, ATOX has been falling in this first half. Had a few strong showings from them, but beyond that, it has been Lynn all the way. westmelon able to get away, but actually G's taken down as well as westmelon. Not quite. I spoke too soon, and Starry still has a word to put in, but it's Annihilation taken down, not clearing the corner. Mick barely trades HP. Whittled down, and it's a 2v2 where Lynn will have some advantage on the base of utility, but beyond that, all the positions go down to the T side.
Now, they do have an HE, and I'm concerned for Mick in this position, but he puts the back of the bomb site with his AWP, recovering that off the hands of Annihilation, who got caught switching between them. But on Mick's health, the best weapon that he could have to leverage that health. Emilia making a lot of sound and presence. They should know where both players are coming in from, but a Molotov that's down to smoke as well. But they'll find the final round of the half. A 5th finally for ATOX. We'll see how the second goes after a break.
7-5, ATOX with a great 2v2 post-plant to seal out the 5th in the previous half. The question is, can they try and close the distance with this pistol and the follow-up? Cabal starting off with the smoke and 2 flashes is the one to potentially instigate, but in the meanwhile, dobu's actually taking point back in Banana. Very lonely there as 4 players will be populating the A site for ATOX. Lynn Vision have got themselves enough for a full kit out back to B. 2 smokes, a Molotov, and the same in flashes. And does seem to be the plan. Starry left out to lurk over a flashbang to clear out Banana as she will get full information, but they're waiting for Starry to make contact or give info of any sort. In fact, that's a missed smoke. That's big. CT smoke comes through, coffin smoke won't be there.
Well, I mean, dobu just had to buy time on this bomb site, and the fact that he's just been able to keep himself alive and trying to keep tabs, it's a little bit weird. Teams are both flying blind here. There's no resistance on B, but they also haven't gotten confirmation of numbers over towards Banana either. Lynn have used all of their util, aside from that one Molotov. And right now, it's just a bit of a game of chicken as to who makes the first rotate away from the stacked bomb site.
Oh my god, what's going on with the util Lynn Vision? Come on, guys. Missing out the molly elsewhere as well, but Starry here in mid does now get confirmation of numbers, and they can very well just immediately plant.
Now, they do still have that smoke and 2 flashes on Cabal, and you can only hope that there are no misses there. But they might try and set themselves up towards deep CT. That's why dobu's playing so far back. Smoke it. Construction, but they find dobu in the end, and now they're just barreling in from Banana. That's where the heavy presence is. In fact, it's westmelon that takes down Emilia, swinging out from CT, but westmelon's finding all sorts of headshots, so he makes up for the fact he just destroyed his teammate. Lynn Vision, it is a bit of an awkward feeling pistol round, I think, for both teams involved, but Lynn come out ahead.
There wasn't even anyone to fight in CT. Emilia had already killed him.
He just saw a head, and he hit the shot. Man had one mode, and it was on.
Yeah, man. When you're in the zone, you're in the zone, right? That's all you can say.
We did just transition from CT to T, so maybe he lost track for a second.
But yeah, I gotta stop them from planting the bomb. Oh, yeah, sorry, my bad. Regardless, though, force buy from ATOX does come through, so we can't really gloss over this one. Pretty default spread. Not quite the same. All USBs on one side and 2 flashes to do so much damage situation that we saw from Lynn.
Yeah, opting for the second round force does let them have better utility in that first investment round for ATOX. Could allow them to have the AWP out as well. So they should have more bells and whistles to fight sort of head-to-head on these full investment rounds. But still always a chance in a round like this as well. The fact that westmelon's already tagged up. The fact these 5.7s can be so mobile, so lethal as well on maps like Inferno, where there are so many tight and close corners and close quarters combat.
Annihilation's not feeling too happy about this one.
Yeah, you miss shots. Those SMGs can just run you down. And
yeah.
Almost does for Annihilation.
Seems like it'll be happening sooner rather than later. Anyway, Starry just finds Annihilation, who's trying to take a gander back in apartment. So now, only man to pose the threat is dobu, but even he's taken down. Again, just running and gunning him down. There you go.
This is a good little poke and probe, I think, from Lynn.
Ooh.
Yeah, there's still lethality. There's still a danger. A weapon that can be recovered potentially for the follow-up round. If Cabal saves this Galil and 5.7, there will be 2 threats. It should look like he gets away with this as well. But I do think this was a nice little push-pull from Lynn. Initially probing towards the short side of A. ATOX started to believe that there was maybe going to be attack that direction, but once they permeated into CT control, there was another avenue that they wished to explore, and they do end up picking right, even though dobu gets his kill. More than enough presence to trade him out.
Terrorists win.
It does just feel like in MR12 going for a force buy in second round at CT side, it just doesn't feel worth it.
Especially when you're already at a deficit, it does feel a little, I think, a little worse. But then
I wonder if that's one
also,
of the things they might look to edge here and there later on.
yeah, but it's just also, you know, when you go into your first gun round, if you don't have all the Molotovs and smokes, you just feel like you're only operating with, what, like 50, 60% of your playbook, if even that. Pros and cons.
This is why you just should buy a little bit less in the pistol round than the player. And yes, I am still on that train.
Yes, but this round's so important.
No, that's true. G, however, very, very important as well. Mix found 2 kills for himself. A Galil can be recovered and more likely than not passed over to Annihilation, with both players having their positions revealed. All that Lynn Vision want to do is get the farm plant down and maybe send this Mac 10 hunting. Yeah,
Emilia was already taking space over towards the A bomb site. I don't think he fully cleared it out, but they did find 2 kills over on the A side. And I think confirmation that there were 2 players, even though Mick was the one that found the kills. We may have heard the extra presence from Annihilation, so no problems getting that plant in. Like you said, letting the leash off for the SMG to go and hunt. Getting rid of one of these rifles will have some importance. ATOX could use the extra equipment, and nice little crouch peek. A little swing out from Emilia. Mick did not have head armor. In fact, I mean, just going to be an absence of armor across the field, and Emilia gets rid of both and the upgrade as well. That could not have gone better. He makes his money and also saves a bunch moving into this first gun round.
Obviously, one of the players we've highlighted so much across this map because of how exciting it is to have Annihilation join ATOX, but we really need that impact from him now on the CT side. Going into that full AWP investment in a round like this, sacrificing on some of that utility, you need to make this work.
Although flash mid, maybe anticipating that a forward fight might have been implemented by that AWP. Being able to mitigate that very quickly. Even though they went for the force buy, you know, they went for this particular buying pattern, even then they're still feeling a little light on util. Mick does find a kill around those smokes at Banana. He's found a few openers for ATOX now through those smokes. I'm still just waiting for the right time to restrict Lynn Vision's control. They do have that additional presence towards the bottom of Banana. They heard that smoke being deployed super close towards those steps. And so they'll know that there is that deep pressure from that Mongolian squad. And being a man down, Lynn Vision are going to have to start to congregate and group themselves up for an attack on one of these bomb sites. 45 seconds. Around 40 by the time they start entering the mouth of Banana. Oh, it's a meaty nade by dobu, who's not even just going to hang around towards the top side of Banana. He still has an extra smoke and a Molotov to delay even further. This is not looking good for Lynn.
There's no way they're able to move past this. Dobu, however, needs to be careful to not just stand inside that smoke. They're planning on nading and walking through it, but that's the perfect timing on the Molotov. They can't go forward. westmelon's going to take so much damage. No, he's trying to edge himself around the smoke. Will be a trade on Dobu, but Cabal's now made his way in. Still 2-on-2. Cabal actually found the frag back in middle on the lurkers, so with the full retake being planned out from Banana, Lynn Vision have plenty of time to set themselves up for post-spawns.
Yeah, they're cutting their losses. ATOX are calling it quits. 2-on-2. They may not have known how low Emilia was, but one smoke and neither of them being able to secure CT control. This could have been an open plant for all they know. And they call it quits. They don't want anything to do with this. The 2-on-2, they're sent packing. Lynn Vision get up to 11 very quickly. And the fact that ATOX pick into this map in the series, though to not be able to register much so far on the transition into CT. Hell, even past the pistol and the conversions from that T side, there's still some growing pains, perhaps, with the roster moves that they've been making.
That's going to be a costly one to lose. ATOX come into the next with enough money to still scramble together a buy, sure, but down 5 to 11, it does feel like Lynn Vision taking away ATOX's map pick seems like an inevitability more than anything else now. They're going to have to put up a real performance, and other than Mick, it doesn't feel like we have too many people wearing a cape on this team. Who's going to be the Superman? Annihilation. He knows where westmelon is. That's that quick shot.
Doesn't feel like we've really seen Annihilation's AWPing. You know, not even just the fact that he's, you know, seldom had the AWP in his hands, but even just the way that he's playing. He is playing with his team. He's playing to restrict control. Does feel like he's kind of slotted positionally, very much similarly to how, you know, accuracy would have done for ATOX previously.
Mick, I mentioned how he's the only one wearing a cape on this team, and well, he is standing on some shoulders right now. Setup can be tricky if your man down below ends up being naded, mollied, forced to move away, then it feels like you are both so vulnerable. But regardless, it'll give them that B-side control and maintain in brackets. Retake util as well coming through. Annihilation. Shot fired out, nothing to shoot at. Not in boiler anyway. Leaves Zesta back in the A side. He's taken down too quick. Annihilation as well, soon to follow. Just not able to get anything done from the site itself, and Cabal once again might... What is going on with the team kills, actually? Emilia helps out Starry and then dies himself. That leaves G all alone. G's got one. Knows there's another around the corner. Mick can just strafe out. Feels like Lynn did half the work for them.
Yeah, that's a little... again, I don't really understand how that's happened, because I think they were both sat around mini pit, and... maybe Emilia just spamming the smoke, and his teammate went out in front of him. You know, it didn't feel the same as when westmelon took out Emilia, but maybe Emilia was out for vengeance. He just didn't kill the right man. That is a very odd way to lose a post-plant, but ATOX will take it. First round on the CT side. You know, Cabal waited a long time to get his kill in through middle. They kind of knew what was happening, especially with all the util being sent out through mid. It could only really mean one thing, a burst out of the apartments, and so... you know, the fact that they don't get too much from the double setup, being able to watch the apartment swing out, is nice for them that they do still get the round.
Annihilation needs to get the shot. He's got just the right idea in mind. Starry peeks out before Emilia can be in a position to try and trade him as well. Zesta is gone. So the trade is there, just not on the offer.
Ooh, Cabal taking the space almost immediately. Okay, he's turned the wrong direction, and by the time he looks back, Emilia there to square him straight in the chin. 3-on-3. Annihilation. They just really want to hold on to this apartment's control, and the flick will miss. Annihilation needed that shot, needed to try and retain that control if he was going to make that type of a play, and now dobu on that rotate flashed and smoked off. Even shot straight through it. This was almost certainly a save. They wanted to try and justify going in for this retake, see if they could find a kill around those smokes, or even get maybe a boost up behind Moto, but Mick can't do anything alone. Another round for Lynn, and just as ATOX struck through finally after what was a bit of a cold streak, unfortunately, Lynn are back to winning ways.
Honestly, man, I felt like ATOX was playing Home Alone, not Counter-Strike. They just want to hold on to that real estate so badly in apartments. And you'd feel like after they get a kill, they'd be fine with fading away, maybe try and, you know, retake it with a flashbang, something like it, just hold on to middle, especially with how many players are in position to potentially actually fight in for it, in case they give it up. But no, it's also not like... the strange thing for me is that they're running a double off setup as well, right? So it's not like you're... so toothless on the base side that you feel like you might need to push him through middle on an earlier stage, which is sort of what you associate with that heavy apps presence on CT side. So it's interesting just to see that variation.
Yeah, I think a little peculiar how intense they were on holding the apartments. unfortunately, that peculiarity doesn't work out for them. Maybe we were trying to be a little unpredictable in how they set up that defense. How they find themselves backs against the wall here on this first map in the series. There is a lower bracket in this qualifier, but considering ATOX, you know, again, they picked this map, and there's been some problems. Still a lot to learn about how this team's form is going to shape up. Out of the apartments, the Lynn Vision players have been able to get out. An Annihilation was flashed, but he's found G. While these players still hold on to Mini and Big Pit alike, they just get chewed out. All these players rotating, scrambling to try and save this A-bomb site, but Lynn have a 3-on-1 for this post plant, leaving it all on dobu's shoulders.
And it feels like he's never even had a chance in most of these CT rounds. Now can he bring it all together, and the one where it matters the most, up short he goes, and Emilia around the corners got backup from Starry, and the smoke's nice, but by the time he deploys the flash, the round is already over. Lynn Vision will take away ATOX's map pick, and Michael, I've got to say, felt like Lynn was drilling that A site.
Yeah, I just didn't really feel like we got much of an example of how good ATOX have been, sort of moving in through the RMRs to even now. You know, this team felt like they've been developing.